Hey everyone, me again. So I wasn't sure if I was going to be doing a Halloween makeup tutorial or anything like that, but I really love watching them, so I wanted to give it a go. I thought I'd show you the kind of makeup that I would usually wear on Halloween. So basically I just raid my makeup drawers and I look for the darkest, the smokiest colours I have, and I'd have a sort of vampire vibe going on. This is the kind of makeup that would work with a lot of different outfits, or if you just want to dress in black from head to toe and just have slightly spooky makeup on. So I really hope you guys like this look and enjoy the tutorial. So I'm going to start out by priming my eyelids, and I use two products to prime my eyelids because I'm a little bit extra, but also I just have a lot of visible veins and redness and stuff. So the first thing I take is this e.l.f. eye primer. So I just like to put this all over the lid. I usually blend it out with my fingers, but I've got these ridiculous fake nails on for filming this video, so I am going to be using this brush today. And then just to get even more coverage on my eyelids, I'm also going to add a little bit of the Maybelline Colour Tattoo. This is one of their creamy matte shades in Creme de Nude. Then I'm just setting that into place using the MUA Transparent Pressed Powder. As you can see, this is something that I use all the time. I've really hit pan on this. Now I haven't really planned out the look or anything. I don't really know where this is going to go, but I'm thinking of something sort of red and black and very dramatic and very smoky. So I think I'm going to start out with this eyeshadow palette from Makeup Revolution. This is the Neutrals versus Neutrals eyeshadow palette. The packaging on mine is kind of falling apart, so I really want to use these beautiful warmer tones in my crease, but just to start out I'm going to go in with that second colour there. That's a really good colour for the transition. So I'm just going to start out with that one and then I'll build it up with the other warmer colours as I go along. This lid is really close to falling apart, but next I'm going to take this warm red shade here and then I'm really going to build up my crease with it. There is just a small chance that I may have gone in with a little bit too much here, but you know what? It's Halloween, so it's okay. So the palette has completely broken now, but actually this makes it a lot easier for me to show you the colours. So, you know, every cloud and all that. So I'm going to keep building it up with this red colour just here. And I'm really just building it up on the outer corners and smoking it out. I also want to take this dark purple shade on a much smaller brush and just work that right into the crease as well. I'm just starting out with a small amount of this shade on either side because it's quite dark and quite pigmented. I'm also going over that purple with the eyeshadow brush that I used the red shadow with and just going over those edges. Now I really love that palette, but it doesn't have a matte black shade or anything that's super dark, and that's what I feel like I really want to do on my mobile lid. So I'm actually reaching for another Makeup Revolution palette. This is their Ultra Eyeshadows palette in Flawless. It's one of their 32 shade ones. So I'm just going to take this very dense brush here and I'm just going to start working that on my lid. I forgot to mention, by the way, that you don't have to use those specific palettes. If you have like a palette that has some warm matte shades and you have maybe a single matte black shadow somewhere, then just use that, it's fine. I personally tried not to buy any specific makeup for Halloween this year and to just focus on what I already had in my collection, and I was really surprised that I actually already had so much stuff. I mean, I'm a makeup hoarder, so that shouldn't really be a shock, but like, if you do tend to accumulate a lot of products, just look at what you already have and I think you'll be surprised at what you can make. I'm also using this same brush just to try to buff the edges a little bit. I'm just using really light strokes because I don't want it to go too much into the red. So I really want to intensify the next colour that I put on top of the mobile lid. So I'm going to go in now with the Barry Kohl pencil in black. Maybe I could have done this before the black eyeshadow, but as I already said, I am basically making up for this look as I go along. I'm just putting a big kind of line sort of where my eyelashes are and then going up a bit but not going all the way to my crease, and then just smudging it with my finger. I'm not going to worry if I get it underneath my eyes, which I definitely will do because I haven't put my foundation on, so I can just clean that up in a minute. Then I am just reaching for the Flawless palette again, and this time I am going to dip my brush in this very glittery blue shade right here, and I'm just going to put that on top of where I put the kohl pencil and then start to blend it in with the other colours. After that, I'm just going to tidy up my crease. So I'm just going to keep like gently reapplying the matte black and the matte red colours. Also, I will be blending everything together with this brush from Real Techniques. This really doesn't have to be neat at all. You might prefer a slightly messier, less blended look, depending on the costume that you'll be wearing to go with this. So now I'm just going to finish off my eyes, and I'm going to start that using the PS Fine Liner Pen from Primark. I adore this. The nib is really fine, so if you've got quite hooded eyes like me, or if you just really struggle with eyeliner or just prefer something really thin and precise, try this one. I think it was £1.50 and I love it. And then after that, I'm going to curl my eyelashes and apply the PS Lash Contour Mascara, which is another eye makeup product from Primark that I am really loving at the moment. And depending on how adventurous I'm feeling, I might attempt to put on these Ardell Wispy lashes. Guys, look at these eyelashes, they're insane! I think I love them. So next I'm going to get started on the base, but before I do that I am going to have to just clean up underneath my eyes a little bit. So everything looks a bit harsh now, but I am going to go back and just smoke the eyes out again after I've done my base. So the first thing I want to use on my base is the NYX Born to Glow Illuminating Primer. How did I get so much primer in my eyebrows? The foundation that I'm going to be using is very pale, and because of that it's going to be very unforgiving on areas of redness. So before I go in with my foundation, I just want to do a bit of colour correcting. I'll be using the NYX Colour Correcting Concealer. This palette has a little bit of everything in it. I'm just going to put the peach and orange tones underneath my eyes and then the green one here on any areas of redness. Now that's done, I can put on my foundation. Now if you want to make your foundation look a little bit lighter, maybe you're trying to go for a bit more of a undead sort of vibe, you could get whatever foundation you have and mix it with a white foundation mixer like this one from Stargazer, or you can just take any foundation you already have if it's too pale for you at the moment. So for me, the NYX Total Control Cover Drops foundation is a little bit too pale for me. I did a whole review on this. If you want to see that, I'll link that in the description box and on the screen now. It wasn't until I was watching the footage back that I thought maybe actually this is a little bit on the pale side for me. Not that I mind, because I really have been liking mixing it with my other formulas. But anyway, long story short, I'm going to apply this foundation. I've just switched to using a sponge instead of a brush because I feel like with this particular foundation it just doesn't really sink into the skin and kind of mesh with it unless you use a damp sponge. Now normally I don't like having like loads and loads of foundation on, but I feel like for Halloween it's kind of acceptable. So I'm definitely looking a lot paler at this point. I still need to use a bit of concealer over some spots and things like that. I don't actually have a concealer that's paler than this foundation, so I'm going to take my usual concealer, which is the NYX HD Studio Concealer in CW00. This was in my review along with the foundation and the primer that I've also used in this tutorial, and at the time I was a bit about this concealer, but now I really like it. And just to make it a little bit paler, I'm also going to mix it with a white concealer. So this is the Freedom Pro HD Longwear Concealer in the white shade, and I'm just going to mix both of them on the back of my hand and slap it on my face. Obviously, if you're recreating this, you don't have to have your base any different to how you would normally do it. You can just go for the eyes on top of your normal look and you'll be good to go. But I'm doing the whole hog. So I'm going to go in with the same MUA powder that I was using before and just set everything into place. Before I do everything else on the base, like the contour and the highlight, I just want to do the rest of my eye makeup. So I don't usually put anything on my lower lashes just because of the shape of my eyes. I just find that it doesn't always look right on me. But I think for this look it would really work. So I'm going to put the same matte black and matte red that I was using earlier just on the lower lash line. I think I'm going to go all the way into here. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to put a bit of mascara on my lower lashes as well. I don't want to put anything too warm on my base. I think I'm just going to stick to really cool colours to contour and sculpt with. So I'm going to go in with the Neutrals palette, and I'm going to start out with the second shade here that I used on my eyes earlier, and I'm just going to use that in the same way that I would use a contour all around my face. And I'm going to deepen up some parts with this taupey matte colour here. I'm going to go in with highlight. Now of course, because I've put a really pale base on, the only thing that would really show up on me now is something pure white. So I'm going to go in with the white eyeshadow in my Neutrals palette. I've just realised that I've completely forgotten to tightline my eyes, so I'm just going to do that now with the same Barry M black eyeliner pencil that I was using before. I also need to put on a bit of lip balm for the liquid lipstick that I'm putting on later, and I think I want to sharpen up my contour a bit just using this shade here. So it is a little bit metallic, but I think I'll get away with it. It's just a really dark purple. So I'm just putting this right at the edges and right at the bottom of my contour just to really sharpen everything up. I think I need a little bit more highlighter, so I'm going to take the Makeup Revolution Vivid Baked Highlighter in Everglow Lights, and I'm just going to put this all over my face just to kind of strobe and lift everything up. I think I'm really going to go for that kind of Edward Cullen level of sparkle here. Okay, I've got to do my eyebrows now because I look really weird without them. So I'm not really sure about using my usual products because they're quite warm toned on me, obviously because they're my everyday eyebrows. So I think I might try to use some of the powders in here. I feel like the ones down here, the three sort of matte brown shades here, might work really well. So I'm going to start out with that, and then I can get something a little bit darker than usual as well, which is going to be really good for this look. So I do like how dark the eyeshadow has turned out, but I think I still need the definition of an eyebrow pencil. Plus I think it's a little bit on the warm side as well, so this might or might not work, but I'm thinking of trying a grey eye pencil just to see what happens. If it goes wrong, then I can just go over it with my usual eyebrow products anyway. But this is the Rimmel Soft Kohl eyeliner pencil in the shade 064. And I'm just going to give very light strokes, just where everything needs a little bit more definition. And I'm just going to brush those into place just to kind of tone it down a bit. Okay, I actually quite like that. I quite like how that's turned out, so I'm just going to do the same on the other side. So we're nearly there. The only thing left to do to finish off the look is to add the lip colour. This is another thing that I was given at a blogging event, but I've never really tried it out because it's just not really me, is it? So I actually gave this to my mum and I've stolen it back to film this tutorial with, and then I will give it straight back to her, of course. But this is the NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream, and the shade is called Copenhagen. And this is the finished look. I really hope that you guys like it. Considering that I didn't really have a plan when I went into this tutorial, I'm actually really happy with how it's turned out. Let me know in the comment section what makeup and costume you're going to be wearing on Halloween. Give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe if you're new around here for new videos every week. And I'll see you next Sunday at 9 AM. Bye. Fucking ridiculous.